If you're an electrician, your website structure might be costing you jobs without you even realizing it. Google's trying to serve the best and most relevant answers to people. So if your website structure confuses Google, that means you're going to be sinking in the rankings. And if that happens, that means fewer clicks and fewer calls and fewer leads. Hello, my name's Thomas from qFido.com. I help electricians use websites and digital marketing to get more calls and more leads. This is a diagram of a website structure for an electrician's website. And what it does is list all the web pages that an electrician would have on their website. When your website is set up the right way, it's easy for people and potential customers to find what they're looking for on your website. It's also easy for Google's bots to go through your pages. The bots are Google's way of scanning your website to see what your website is about. A good structure means that Google can connect your pages to the relevant search results on the Google search results page. And it also means that customers can find your services, your location, and your contact info quickly. If your website structure is messy, that means both potential customers and Google will have a difficult time finding what they're looking for, which means less calls, less leads, and less revenue for you. Website structure contains four main components. That would be your URL and content structure, your hierarchy and naming structure, your link structure, and your navigation structure. Every page on your website has a web address, and that web address is called a URL. So right here with it starts with HTTPS usually and ends with a .com or .gov.org. That's called the URL. And the way the URL is structured helps tell Google how your website is organized. As you can see here on the Google developer site, it says how you organize your content may affect on how Google crawls and indexes your site. Crawls meaning scans your website to find its web pages, and then indexes your site, meaning how it displays your results, your web pages in the search results. Right here is one of Google's examples. Right here is the domain name, example.com, and the directory is policies. So under policies is the return policy. So under policies, they can have each of their policies, like their terms and conditions, their guarantees, that type of thing. And their next example is promotions. So under promotions, they'll have their different promotions, maybe a summer promotion, a back to school promotion, something like this. So let's see how that would work on an electrician's website. Right here, I have built out a sample electrician's website, and we will be taking a look at the URL or the web address here so you can see how the directories work out. If I go to our services, I have it categorized into two different categories, residential services and commercial services, right? So if I click one of these, if you notice in the URL, we have the main domain, but then after that we have services. Okay, so now everything under here is a service. And then underneath services, we have a category of services, which is commercial. And then under commercial, we have the actual service itself. So this is going to tell Google that everything under here is services. Everything under commercial has to do with commercial services. And then this is the actual service itself. Doing this will help Google create relevance and trust. That way your page gets ranked higher in the search results and more people see it. So let's take a look at another example. If I click under residential services, if I click EV charger installation, as you can see, this follows a similar pattern. In the URL, there is the main domain name, and then we have our overall services, and then under services is residential, the service category, and then after that is the individual service itself. Again, this is going to create relevance and trust with Google, so that way when Google lists your web page in the search results, it will rank higher, and they're more confident that when people search for EV charger installation in Loveland, Colorado, that this will show up. This type of grouping doesn't require real folders on your server. For example, on your server, you wouldn't need to have the EV charger installation web page inside of a residential folder, inside of a services folder, inside of the root folder. Having the URLs set up like this is enough for Google to know that these are the sections that they belong to create relevance and help you rank higher. The next component of website structure is hierarchy and naming. So inside the URL, we have a natural hierarchy here. We have your main domain name, which is your overall business. And then under that, we have services. So we're talking about the services, that part of our business. And under services, we have the category of services, which is residential. And then we have the service itself, which is the EV charger installation. So this creates a clear hierarchy that is easy to understand for Google spots that are scanning your website, and then also for potential customers that are trying to find something. They can easily see that they're in the right place. Now, when it comes to naming, you want to have a specific naming structure like this that also helps Google figure out what's going on in the user. You wouldn't want arbitrary names. For example, you wouldn't want to have yourbusiness.com and then services with category 1 and then service 1, and then category 1, service 2, category 3, service 3. That doesn't create relevance, and it doesn't help the search engine display results that people will click on, and it doesn't help the potential customer find what they're looking for. The next component of website structure is called link structure. So anywhere on your website that you have a link, also called a hyperlink, that creates a small amount of relevance, and those add up to create what your website is about. For example, my homepage says that we are trusted electrician services in Loveland, Colorado, right? So now I know my homepage is about electrician services. If I click to somewhere else, view services, this site is this web page is about residential and commercial electrical services. So now we have two web pages saying that we're about electrical services. And if I click another link, say smart home wiring, this again is a electrical service, right? So now Google is starting to get the idea that my entire website is about providing electrical services, electrician services. Having clear, consistent links on your website helps your potential customers find exactly what they're looking for, like the services that you offer, your open hours, or how to contact you. It also helps Google index and rank your web pages. When Google is crawling or scanning your website, if there's no link, then Google won't be able to find that page. So imagine you are just looking for a web page on a website. You will just click a link and then you go to that one, and then you'll click a link and then you'll go to that web page, and then you'll click another link and you'll go to that web page, right? This is the same way that Google finds the web pages on your website. The last component of website structure is your navigation structure. So that would include your header right up here at the top. All of this is your header. And inside the header, it has your logo, which is also a link that takes you back to the home page wherever you are. And then your main menu here, which links to everywhere on the site. And it also includes a call to action, which is something like request a quote or your phone number. Now, the main purpose of the header is to give your customers a clear way to search for what they need to find on your website. So they can obviously see that your services, the areas that you serve, are the most important things. And then if they want to know more about you, they can click about or contact, right? And then if they want to call you, that is also there right away for them to see. So that's the importance of a header. Similarly, the footer serves a lot of the same purposes here. It'll have your logo, which can take you back to the homepage again, your hours, the areas you serve, quick links, similar as to above. But it will also have typically your copyright. That way you're protected. And then your privacy policy and your terms of service, because you need to be protected legally. Your header and your footer also, again, give Google another chance to find everything that's on your website easily, because the header and footer are the links that are on every single web page. So, for example, if they somehow find your Johnstown page from a link from someone else's website, the Google bot was crawling and they found this page. Now that they have the header here, they can find everything on your website. Now that we have a good understanding of what website structure is, let's go ahead and break down what kind of web pages you should actually include on your website. By the end, you'll know exactly what web pages to include on your website. That way your website works as a tool to bring in more consistent jobs without confusing you or complicating it for your customers. To start with are the must-have pages. These are the non-negotiables. Without them, customers might not find you, trust you, or know how to hire you. Your must-have pages include your home page, your about page, your services page, individual service pages, service areas, your contact page, your testimonials or reviews page, your hour work or projects page, privacy policy, terms of service, 404 page, and your sitemap. Next up are your nice-to-have pages. These can make your site more engaging or it can give you an edge over your competitors. Your nice-to-have pages include your FAQ page, a blog, financing options, careers, licenses and insurance, guarantees or warranties, affiliations and awards, your referral program, a safety page, and your offers and promotions page. Next up are situational pages. These can be useful in the right situation for customers, but be careful because you don't want to give yourself too many pages and extra work and also confuse your customers. If you don't need them, then you can leave them out. Situational pages include events and news, team bios if you want to have a little section for each team member or staff member, a client portal, an advanced project filter. So that means if you have a whole lot of projects to display and you want to have a searchable filter for people. Now that you have a better understanding of what website structure is, let's take a little bit deeper dive into the services part. So if we click over our services here, we can see the different categories and then the individual services. If we click our services, we'll go to a main central services hub page. If you want to keep things simple, you can link to your individual services from here, from this one hub page. What you could also do is create, say, a commercial hub page. So the URL would look like mymaindomain.com services and then commercial, right? And then without this, at this commercial page, this commercial URL, you would list all your commercial services if you have quite a few of them. And you could do the same thing for residential. You should make sure that each individual service that you offer has its own individual web page. If this video is making sense and helping you out, please go ahead and hit subscribe because I have more videos coming to help electricians get more clicks and get more jobs, more customers. And if you have a question about your website, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I'll read every one. Next up, we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into location pages. So this sample website here says Trusted Electrician Services in Loveland, Colorado. So this is the main location for this imaginary business. If you don't have any notable locations, areas, or cities around you, then it would be completely fine to just leave your homepage as the singular location page for your website. If there are other areas that you're trying to get business in and rank for, then what you're going to want to do is create another location page for each location that you want to rank in, right? So if you see in the header under areas we serve are the other locations, and they each have their own individual location page. So if I click into one of these, we will have the individual location page itself. So this one is Trusted Electricians Serving Loveland and Nearby Areas. And if you notice in the URL, we have our hierarchy and it is named correctly. So it has our service area and Loveland, which is the city name, right? And this, depending on the number of locations that you have, can change up. If you're a huge national brand, you might have, state and then city, right? So it can vary a little bit business to business. So on each individual location page, you're going to want to have unique content to that location. For example, down here under Loveland's Go To Electricians, it talks about the actual area in the location and specific landmarks, Centera. And you should do that for each location page because Google doesn't like duplicate content. You don't get penalized for having duplicate content, but if you have the exact same content on two different pages, Google is going to choose one to show in Google results. So as you can see on the Google developers doc for SEO here, if you go down, it will tell you that you should reduce duplicate content. Some websites show the same content under different URLs, which is called duplicate content. Search engines choose a single URL to show users per piece of content. So if I have 3 location pages here, and all 3 location pages have the exact same words on them, then Google's going to choose one and show it instead of showing each individual location page. So as you can see here, this one, Johnstown, has a different background picture, and then it has different words on here, different copy on here to show relevance to Google. So that way each individual location ranks on Google. Another thing you can do is that if you are in an area that it has a lot of people, so it's high competition, and there are several services that are in high demand, what you can do is you can make a location-specific individual service page. So what does that mean? So if you go up to the URL, you'll have your business.com, then you'll have the service area location, and then you'll have the name of the town, and then after that you'll put the individual service, right? EV charger. So that way up here in the title, you'll have EV charger installation in Johnstown. Okay, because if you go back here to our EV charger web page, it says EV charger installation in Loveland, Colorado, right? Because our main location is Loveland, Colorado. So you only really need to do the location specific service page if it has enough search volume and it really is highly competitive. Again, when you do that, you want to avoid duplicate content by making sure that the individual service page is unique to that area, like Johnstown. I could talk about Johnstown and why there's so many EV cars driving around Johnstown. So let's go ahead and take a look at the diagram I had of our website structure to make it look a little bit easier. So under services, we have each individual service. And under areas we serve, we have each individual city. Maybe I can make it like this so it's easier to see for you. Yeah, under each area we serve, we have the city. And then under under services, we have each individual service, right? And again, if we want, what we could do is we could add the residential hub page. And then I could put these under residential, just like that, and have a residential hub page. And you could do the same thing for commercial or industrial, whatever category that you have. Beyond the main components of website structure, there are a couple of other powerful elements that you can add to your website to help out with the website structure. One of them is breadcrumbs. So if we go over to one of our individual services, in the URL you can see the individual service panel upgrade, and then a service category, residential, overall services, and then the homepage domain name, right? So this is a hierarchy, and that can be shown in breadcrumbs. An example would be here on Amazon.com, right? This is a Nintendo Switch video game, and the breadcrumbs are shown right here. So here's the individual game, and then here are all the games, and this is under Nintendo Switch 2, and that's under the umbrella of video games. This is called breadcrumbs. The next thing is your priority pages. So the most important pages should be closest to your homepage. So if we look at our example here, homepage is level 0, and then our work is level 1, and then pizza, school, church, or kitchen lighting, that's level 2, right? So these would be projects that the electrician had, and these would be level 2. So the more important pages go closest to the homepage. The last thing you want to do is to avoid an orphaned page. So that means there's a page on your website that doesn't have any links to it. For example, if I took this and I put this emergency services webpage here, and there was no link from the residential services page to it, this is called an orphan page because it's just living out here in Never Never Land by itself. And that means nobody can find it. Google can't find it. Your customers can't find it. So you don't want to do that. You want to keep it together, linked inside of your website in a logical hierarchical way. If your web page isn't structured clearly, then Google's not going to be able to find the relevance between your web pages and your services and the customer searches like home generator installation near me. And that means they're not going to find you. When your pages are laid out logically and they're linked in a way that makes sense and it's easy to navigate for your customers, you're going to show up in more relevant searches. And that's going to open the door to more consistent, high quality leads. If you found this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button. I've got more videos coming to help electricians get more leads, more calls, and more revenue with their website and digital marketing. If you want a pro to help you out, please visit me at qFido.com. Thank you.